What up, YouTube? It's Missouri Company. In today's video, I want to talk about officers. We're going to talk about where and why you should recruit them, what you should prioritize, what they can be used for, and everything in between, and which officers are the best. Because I don't know if you know this, but certain officers can literally change just how powerful you are. That's pretty insane. Let's get straight to it. So where do you recruit officers? It's going to be right down here at our command center. If you want to recruit officers, I would highly recommend saving up your these envelopes until you get 9, because you do get actually one for free where you actually get to recruit 10 instead of just the 9 that you're pulling. So make sure you're saving these up. Purple obviously will get you better heroes, or officers rather. That's what you should look at. You can see the rate here. So there's a normal recruit, which is the blue one, is a 1.6% chance. But if you do get the purple ones, which you get all the time, especially from events, you get a 17% chance, which is pretty fantastic. Now, what do officers do in the game? There's a few different things you can do with them. First is you can actually use them over here in the, right here, where you can actually use your officers to battle the hordes of never-ending zombies in the mercenary survivor game mode, which will net you a decent amount of supplies for literally for free, just for progressing. You can see I'm well past due of progressing myself, and it's actually a really fun game mode where you can literally use it with one hand, and just while you're doing something like cooking or something, it's pretty quick, and you can just literally kill all the zombies in a circle, power up your officers, and it's a really good time. Now, what else can they be used for? More importantly, they can be used for strengthening your overall armies, as well as giving you additional perks. So if we go to a point, this is where things get really interesting. You can see your total officer power for everything you have. Mine's a little low, so I need to work on my officers, but you can see right here, there's 3 different categories. There's the director, the strategy, and the drill master. Each officer can only go into a certain type, and certain officers are better than others. Let's go and look at it. So if we click on our friend here, so you see his first skill is advanced research. Research speed increased by, well, I guess subtracted technically, but the research speed itself is sped up by 17.4%, which is literally insane. His secondary trait here is mineral expert, which is a mineral output increased by 7.83%, and this can be upgraded with these little cards, which I'm not going to do for him because there's some other options that you could actually use instead. And then the higher you get in terms of unlocking them, the more stars you get. So you should always have research going at all times, which is why I think Doc is one of the best ones, because it gives me a 17% increase to the speed at which they recruit or process. Intermediate engineering construction speed. So this will help your construction speed, which is really good as well. In fact, that's the other thing you should be going for. But you see, I already have that in an epic, and I get twice as much as I would have gotten from her. Now, as I power him up, that will of course get better. Same with the stars. Once I star him up more, I will be able to get different levels. Now, you could ask, well, obviously you're going to just pick the purple ones, right? No. Every level has its own. So if I'm gathering a lot, he would make sense. But also the blue ones are going to be a lot easier to star up because they're more common. So keep that in mind. In fact, you could even look at more of a green one. Basic engineering construction speed. It's much lower, but I could star him up a lot easier. See what I'm saying? Now, that's going to do it for the directors. Now, if we go down to the strategies, so if we click on him, advanced medicine, max wounded plus 9.75%. Now, typically this is not the one you should look for, but I unfortunately have been attacked a great deal and lost a substantial amount of troops because we're basically constantly at war on our server. So I need to make sure that if I'm not online and I get attacked, that I have the ability, and I don't have a shield on my city, that I won't lose all my troops, which this additional almost 10% helps with pretty tremendously. Now you can see the fleet, max fleet units is a fantastic one. So if I'm going on an attack, this is the trait that I would look for, either from a blue, green, or even a purple, officer. So this one will increase the amount of units I can send on one army, which is fantastic. See max wounded, max fleet units as well. So you can see where there's a lot of value. The other one I'm using currently is intermittent training speed, which is fantastic. You should be training at all times, and having him available is exactly what I want, because ultimately I'm going to be recruiting all the time, and the faster I recruit, the more power I get from my units. Moving on to Drill Master. This is where you have 4 slots. Morale boost. Boost your troops' morale in the first 20 seconds of battle. All your troops increase attack by 4%. It's pretty good. Intense medical training, a wounded units bonus limit to 1,755. And then for her, it is sharp senses. Lucky sniffs out enemies' weaknesses, reducing their attack of all enemy troops by 11%, which is pretty awesome. Now you can see that these drill masters are the ones that actually change the tide of battle for you. whereas the strategy was more of what it does for your building, and same with this, the director. So these two categories, but these 4 officers will help improve your productivity at your city, whereas the drill masters are going to help you be more efficient on the battlefield. So ultimately, depending on what you're doing, you definitely want to make sure that you're balancing out what you're doing and where. And we do have warfare at the very bottom, which is very similar. Damage dealt to all troops increased by 4%. Advanced attack, siege, army attack, and HP up by 5%. And then we have advanced defense, city guards attack and HP plus 5%. And then last but not least, advanced melee mastery, melee troops attack, defense, and HP increased by 8%. So these bottom 2 categories are going to be what gives you additional stats, whereas these top 2 are what give you the additional productivity for your overall city. Now, again, this is, you want to really min-max your officers, not necessarily based off their rank in terms of how rare they are, but based off what you need doing in that moment in time for your city. So make sure you can change this as much as you want, so it's very fluent. Change as much as you can in order to make sure you're min-maxing your overall city as well as your units. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video, and let me know in the comment section below which officer is your favorite. I'll be looking at and commenting on all comments, so make sure you put your favorite in there. And until next time, guys, lock it in. But more importantly, thank you again for Age of Origins for sponsoring today's video.